The Bible is full of stories, amazing stories of faith, courage, and love that have inspired countless generations. Often we hear about the men, Abraham, Moses, David, and Peter. Their tales are well known and frequently told. But what about the women? Their stories are equally compelling and significant. Many women played vital roles in God's plan, shaping the course of history in profound ways. Their stories are just as important, even if they're not always in the spotlight. They deserve to be heard and remembered. These women came from all walks of life. Some were queens, others were servants. Some were wealthy, others were poor. Yet each one made a significant impact, but they all shared one thing in common: an unshakable faith in God. This faith guided their actions and decisions. They faced challenges with bravery, often standing up against insurmountable odds. They showed kindness to those in need, embodying the true spirit of compassion and service. And they left a lasting legacy for generations to come, influencing countless lives through their actions and faith. Their stories remind us that God sees and values every person, regardless of their status or background. He uses ordinary people, both men and women, to do extraordinary things. Their lives are a testament to this truth. By exploring their lives, we can gain inspiration and encouragement for our own journeys. Their experiences offer valuable lessons. We can learn from their examples of faith, resilience, and compassion. These qualities are timeless and universal. Let's uncover the stories of these remarkable women. Their contributions deserve recognition and celebration. Let's celebrate their contributions and learn from their unwavering devotion to God. Their faith is a beacon of hope. Their voices may have been forgotten by some, but their faith continues to resonate throughout history, echoing through the ages. Shiphrah's story takes us back to ancient Egypt, a land of great pyramids and powerful rulers. The Israelites, God's chosen people, were living in slavery, enduring harsh conditions and relentless labor. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, felt threatened by their growing numbers, fearing they might rise against him. In his fear, he issued a cruel and heartless order. All Hebrew baby boys were to be killed at birth. Shiphrah was a midwife, a guardian of new life. Her sacred duty was to help women bring their children into the world safely. She, along with another midwife named Puah, were given a direct and terrifying order from Pharaoh himself. They were to carry out this horrific act, an act that went against everything they believed in. But Shiphrah and Puah feared God more than they feared Pharaoh. They turned to their faith for strength. They knew deep in their hearts that this order was wrong and unjust. They bravely defied Pharaoh's command, choosing to save the innocent lives of the babies. They refused to harm the innocent babies, standing firm in their moral convictions. They put their own lives at risk to protect these children, knowing the severe consequences they could face. Shiphrah's story is a testament to the power of courage and the strength of the human spirit. She stood up for what she believed in, even when it was dangerous and could cost her everything. Her story reminds us that we too can make a difference, no matter how daunting the challenge, or we can stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult and the odds are against us. We can choose to be a voice for the voiceless and protect those who are vulnerable, just as Shiphrah did. Shiphrah's courage inspires us to act with integrity and compassion, reminding us of the impact one person can have. Deborah's story is one of leadership and strength. She was a prophetess and a judge in Israel. At that time, judges were chosen by God to lead and deliver the Israelites. Deborah was a wise and respected leader. People came to her for guidance and justice. She was also a woman of action. When the Israelites were threatened by a powerful enemy, Deborah knew what had to be done. She called upon Barak, a military leader, and together they planned a strategic attack. Deborah's faith in God was unwavering. She prophesied that victory would be theirs, and indeed the Israelites were victorious. Deborah's leadership and courage played a crucial role in their victory. Her story shows us that women can be powerful leaders. They can be strong, decisive, and courageous. Deborah's legacy inspires us to use our gifts and talents to make a difference in the world. Jairus was a synagogue ruler, a man of great importance in his community. He was desperate and filled with anxiety. His beloved daughter was gravely ill, teetering on the edge of life and death. Jairus had heard numerous accounts about Jesus and his miraculous healings and stories that filled him with a glimmer of hope. So he sought out Jesus, falling at his feet and pleading earnestly for his help. hoping for a miracle. As Jesus agreed to go with Jairus, a large crowd gathered and followed them, eager to witness what would happen next. Among the crowd was a woman who had been suffering for 12 long years from a debilitating condition. Her condition made her ritually unclean, causing her to live a life of isolation and rejection. She had spent all her money on doctors seeking a cure, but nothing had worked. Her hope was dwindling. She believed with all her heart that if she could just touch Jesus' cloak, she would be healed. And she was right. Her faith made her whole. Jesus immediately felt power go out from him, sensing the touch of faith. He stopped and asked, "Who touched me?" His question puzzled the crowd. The woman, trembling with fear and awe, came forward and confessed. Jesus reassured her with kind words. "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering," he said, offering her comfort and peace. Meanwhile, a messenger arrived with devastating news that Jairus' daughter had died. Jesus, undeterred, told Jairus not to be afraid, but to have faith and believe in the impossible. When they reached Jairus' house, Jesus took the girl's hand and said, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Miraculously, she did. This miracle shows us that even in the darkest of times, hope remains, shining like a beacon. Jesus' boundless compassion and divine power can bring healing and restoration, transforming lives forever. Section 5. The Samaritan Woman Breaking Barriers. Jesus met the Samaritan woman at a well. She came to draw water, probably avoiding the other women. You see, Samaritans and Jews despised each other. Jesus, breaking social customs, asked her for a drink. The woman was surprised. "You are a Jew," she said, "and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" Jesus told her about a different kind of water, living water that would quench her thirst forever. He knew everything about her, including her past mistakes, yet he treated her with respect and kindness. The woman, touched by Jesus' words, recognized him as the Messiah. She ran back to her village and told everyone about him. Many people believed in Jesus because of her testimony. This encounter teaches us about breaking down barriers. Jesus reached out to someone considered an outsider. He saw past her ethnicity, her past, and her social standing. He saw her heart. The Samaritan woman's story challenges us to do the same, to treat everyone with dignity and respect, regardless of their background or beliefs. Section 6. Mary, the mother of Jesus, a heart of humility. Mary, a young woman from Nazareth, received an extraordinary call from God. She would give birth to Jesus, the Son of God. Imagine the weight of such a responsibility. Yet Mary responded with humility and obedience. "I am the Lord's servant," she said. "May your word to me be fulfilled." Mary's life was far from easy. She faced social stigma, poverty, and the pain of seeing her son crucified. Through it all, she remained a steadfast follower of Jesus. She pondered his teachings in her heart. She supported him in his ministry, and she stood by him at the cross. Mary's story is a testament to the power of humility and obedience. She didn't seek fame or recognition. She simply said yes to God's plan. Her life inspires us to live with humility, to trust in God's plan, and to say yes to his call on our lives. Section 7, Haggai, Rebuilding Faith, Rebuilding Lives. Haggai was a prophet who delivered God's message to the Israelites after their return from exile in Babylon. They had begun rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem, but they faced opposition and discouragement. The work had stalled. Haggai challenged the people to examine their priorities. He reminded them that their focus should be on God's house. "Is it a time for you yourselves to be living in your paneled houses while this house remains a ruin?" he asked. Haggai's words were a wake-up call. He urged the people to turn back to God and complete the temple reconstruction. He assured them that God would bless them if they put him first. His message resonated with the people. Inspired by his words, they resumed the work with renewed enthusiasm. Haggai's story reminds us that God's work requires our commitment and action. It encourages us to prioritize our relationship with God and to put him first in all that we do. Section 8, Remembering Their Stories, Inspiring Our Own. The women of the Bible, though often overlooked, played vital roles in God's story. Shiphrah's courage, Deborah's leadership, the Samaritan woman's boldness, Mary's humility, and the inspiration drawn from Haggai's message all offer valuable lessons for us today. Their stories remind us that God can use anyone, regardless of their gender, social status, or past mistakes, to accomplish his purposes. By remembering their stories, we keep their legacies alive. We allow their courage, faith, and compassion to inspire our own lives. We learn that we too can make a difference in the world. We can stand up for what is right, lead with wisdom, break down barriers, and live with humility and obedience. Let us continue to explore the stories of these remarkable women. Let us share their stories with others so that their legacies of faith and courage may continue to inspire generations to come. Section 9. Resources for further exploration. For those interested in delving deeper into the stories of women in the Bible, here are some excellent resources. The Women's Bible Commentary, edited by Carol A. Newsom and Sharon H. Ringe. Women of the Bible by Anne Spangler and Jean Sisweder. Lost Women of the Bible by Carolyn Custis James. These resources provide insightful commentary, historical context, and inspiring reflections on the lives of biblical women. They offer a richer understanding of their contributions and their enduring impact on faith and history.